Blessing Mashoko, and you are listening to the African Developer Podcast. More people than ever are on their software development journey, and on this show, we discuss the ideas, opportunities, and strategies to live your best life as a developer. I've been developing for 7 years now, and I've worked with different kinds of developers, from rookies to wizards. And if I'm to honestly judge my skill level right now, I would confidently say that I'm a very good developer. But it was not always like that. I used to believe that I was not good enough to be considered a developer, despite external evidence proving that I was a very good developer. I had a hard time recognizing my own accomplishments and intelligence. Instead, I fixated on the perceived shortcomings, failures, and mistakes, and any success I had, I would attribute it to lack or some other lame excuse. So, at one point, I realized that I was being held by Imposter Syndrome, and I had to do something about it. I took my time to research, to uncover the source of this sense of inadequacy, and I discovered something interesting. I discovered that high-achieving, highly successful people often suffer, so imposter syndrome doesn't equate with low self-esteem or lack of self-confidence. In fact, some researchers have linked it with perfectionism. So now the word perfectionism comes into play. And I would say I'm kind of a perfectionist, so to speak. So one thing I came to understand is that knowledge acquisition is limited. You see, I was a hardcore perfectionist back in the day. I believed that I had to know almost all programming languages and the frameworks they have. And in the long run, I felt like an imposter, even though I knew a lot. I knew a lot, like I knew above most people in my circles and even internationally. I always felt like I don't really know anything, even with the evidence proving otherwise. You see, in the world of programming, developers of any experience or education can fall prey to developer syndrome, imposter syndrome. This is perhaps due to the very nature of the tech industry. Instead of telling yourself that you don't deserve success, always remind yourself that it is normal not to know everything and that you will find out more as you progress. Plus, as we gain new technology and understanding, previous methods can become obsolete. As such, development is a role in which programmers need to be constantly learning and open to new ideas and practices. So, when new and unknown methods, languages, and tools are needed, it's easy for developers to feel inadequate. If unchecked, this can graduate to developer imposter syndrome. So we have to consider the context. That's another important thing. We have to consider the context. You see, most developers experience moments or occasions where they don't feel 100% confident. There may be times when you feel out of your depth. Maybe when you cause a stupid bug or something, or someone assuming you know a business process may never explain something to you properly. So you might be ignorant to certain business processes. And self-doubt can be normal reaction. If you catch yourself thinking that you are useless, reframe it. Reframe it in such a way that the fact that you feel useless right now does not mean that you are really useless. You see, reframe failure as a learning opportunity. Find out the lessons and use them constructively in the future. This is a critical lesson for everyone. Another point we have to look at is you have to understand that you're only human. Remember that you are entitled to make small mistakes occasionally and forgive yourself. Don't forget to reward yourself for getting things right. This is really important. So, when a bug comes your way and you seem not to find a solution, always remember that the bugs can be solved. And always remember the previous bugs you have solved. So you get to understand that you have the capacity to solve these bugs. Another aspect is ask for help. Seriously, just ask for help. This has saved me a lot of time, and sometimes it has saved me from reinventing the wheel in many cases. You see, everyone needs help. That's a fact of life. Recognize that you can seek assistance and that you don't have to do everything alone. You don't have to. This will give you a good reality check and help you talk things through. Asking for help or advice is not only demonstrates that you have an open mindset, which is very important, and it also shows that you're willing to learn and adapt, but that you value the input of your colleagues. So, in a nutshell, asking for help is not a sign of incompetence. I have to repeat this. Asking for help is not a sign of incompetency. You have to ask for help. So in conclusion, I always say, always remember that you are a developer. You cannot know everything. And what you know, what you don't know, does not define your abilities. Do you have any further coping strategies for imposter syndrome? What has worked for you? And what has not worked for you? Let me hear you in the comment section. And once again, I'm Blessing Mashoko, and this is the African Developer Podcast.